Trevor Hendy is an Australian sporting legend. He became a household name in the 80s and 90s as a celebrated surf life-saving and Ironman champion.
As well as dominating our screens, he was also a popular face in our kitchens. Anyone remember this?
What I do in the morning is I swim, and then when I come home, I'll eat 14 Vita-Breads. I've pretty much grown up on them.
That takes me back now. A grandfather and a high-performance coach, Trevor has rebuilt his energy, tackling midlife fatigue with changes to his mindset and his health. And for more on conquering midlife fatigue, we're joined by Trevor Hendy and longevity expert, Dr. Denise Furness. Lovely to see you both. Is that true, Trevor? Are you really a grandfather?
Absolutely. Morning, guys. I'm actually here at Tea Gardens, north of Newcastle. There's 1,000 lorikeets around. It's a beautiful day. I have got 6 grandchildren now.
Oh, my God.
Wow, congrats
that intro
to you.
That intro inspired me, but then you said grandfather and I was like, I felt old all of a sudden.
Well, if they're eating Vita-Breads, they're probably doing okay, like you are. Tell us about why you decided to really look at your health and the effect that fatigue and burnout had.
I think you can see some of that footage in the background there, that it was pretty heady times. You know, when you're racing and you're an athlete, the finish line is always the thing that holds all the solutions for you. You know, win at all costs, because they get the trophy, the money, all that sort of stuff. And that is not sustainable. So basically, as you get a little bit older, as we all know, that energy starts to deplete a little bit. So rather than how can I get to the finish line and win, I started to actually realise I have to really attend to what's going on for me now. And so a whole raft of things changed, including, I suppose, a bit of a spiritual awakening to that sort of energy to be still and be present, but also nutrition, movement rather than exercise, all those sort of things, because, you know, all of it, once upon a time, you know, when we were kings, I could conquer the world in Ironman racing, and next minute I'm like, I've got 6 grandchildren that I want to go surfing with, and I'm puffing walking up the stairs. So yeah. It's a life change. It's an evolution for sure.
Well, let's bring Dr. Furness in here. You've been researching something called mitochondrial health and on how our cells produce and use energy. Why is this area of research something that viewers at home need to know about?
Well, as Trev said, things change. When we're young, we're making all this energy, but as we age, our mitochondria, which make energy, so they do lots of things, but one of the predominant things is they make energy. You can think of them like our batteries. And as we age, our batteries can go a little flat, and I'm sure many people start to feel it. So we need to give our body, yeah, exactly. We need to give our body and our mitochondria what it needs. And as you mentioned, I've been doing research in this space and working with my good friend Trev, looking after him and trying to help people understand what we can do to keep those energy levels up, but even slow out the aging process. Some people age faster.
Tell us how to do it.
Oh, well, so to be honest, it's getting the foundations right. Real food. People are eating ultra-processed food. They're not even getting their nutrition. Exercise. When you exercise, not only are you pumping blood around the body to get oxygen and nutrients, you're making more mitochondria, making more batteries, as well as sleep. You just talked about social media. People are scrolling at night. That affects their sleep. But also things in the body start to decline, something called ubiquinol that feeds our mitochondria. As we age, we make less. It's a natural product. And if we can start to put all of these things in, we can fuel our mitochondria, more energy, but actually slow cellular aging. It's called biological age.
Now, Trevor, what are you finding as well? I mean, your routines have had to change significantly, as you say, to beat fatigue and stay active. Can you give us any tips?
Absolutely. I think it's funny that Denise brought up ubiquinol, because when I raced, I had this experience once upon a time of training really, really hard and being a bit fatigued, and then taking ubiquinol, actually, and feeling this change. So that was during racing period. And then years later, I'm the grandfather, you know, trying to live a good life and give some love to others, and I'm fatigued, and all of a sudden I bumped back into it, and running into Denise, we started talking about it. So that's one thing, the good supplements and nutrition you can put in. Also, I take a lot of magnesium, which actually helps detox and get things out. I have gone off alcohol. I don't have really gluten or dairy. It's not a hard thing. There's so many good meats, veggies and things like that. But also I view exercise more as movement. So what's going to give me mobility? So qigong, yoga, stand-up paddling, swimming, things like that tap me into nature and get me outside, but also create a nice flow. And I think at the end of the day, it's all about this feeling that we have inside, that I want to feel like myself. I want to feel alive and connected and be able to contribute to the world. And all those little things helped.
Yeah, Denise,
great
before we
tips.
let you go, give us some sort of guidelines, say for exercise. How much should people be doing? Because I think it's confusing for people. They can feel totally overwhelmed. So if you're talking to someone who's at home that hasn't done anything, I know you'll probably say just get up and do something, but give us a bit of a guideline around that.
I will give you some guidelines that I share, but I will say best to speak to a health practitioner. We're all a bit different, but just general guidelines. Moving every day. We sit all the time. If you can, strength training at least 2 times a week, 3 times a week. Strength training means using your body weight or maybe some weights to build that muscle so it doesn't decline. From a whole foods perspective, vegetables every day. If you can, what my healthy aging sort of protocol talks about, 6 serves of veggies. It sounds a lot, but 1 cup of cooked veggies is actually already 2 serves.
Right.
Good protein. It doesn't have to be animal protein. So just real foods. But as I said, getting back to sleep as well. You just spoke about the social media stuff. You know, people aren't sleeping well. This is the time you repair, heal, regenerate. So thinking about those foundations and then what else might be depleted as you're aging to really fuel your body.
All right, Denise, Trevor, great advice as always. Might even listen to some of that this time. Thank you,
Come and
guys.
see
Great
me.
to talk.
Good luck.